It's Christmas in July for lacrosse fans. We are at the IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championships here on Tragically Hip Way at Slush Puppie Place in Kingston, Canada's original capital. We're going to be having Canada Day here at the tournament, and we're going to be having a lot of exciting lacrosse. We're going to start tonight with the United States and Australia. I'm Stephen Stamp. He's Brian Shanahan. And Shanny, pretty exciting to get this thing going.
Yeah, you know, I've done this a few times, and I absolutely love it. The beginning of the tournament, you're just getting to know the players. As the week goes by, you see a lot of great lacrosse and get to know a lot of good players.
We're going to wrap this up and get ready to play. We are going to hit the starting blocks and get going with the IIJL World Juniors here from Kingston. 2 years ago, the United States made IIJL World Juniors history when they won the gold medal, a huge win, a team led by the likes of Ryan Colsey. I call him Roy fairly often. Ryan Colsey, yeah. And last year, they were very disappointed to slide down to third place, losing to Scotland in the semifinals. They are coming in with a vengeance, on a mission, and they are facing Australia in the first game. They have a bunch of players back. The U.S., about half the team, has played for them before at this tournament. They also have a guy named Fisher Gadbois, who is not new to the tournament. There is a goal by Fisher Gadbois on cue. It's waved off, though. Looks like he was in the crease. But Gadbois, that is rising to the moment as we're talking about him.
Yeah, that didn't take long. He must have heard you talking about it, but it's fair to say they are coming to this tournament with a chip on their shoulders after not just not winning the gold last year, but not winning the silver.
Yeah, they I think were a little mean in the bronze because they were angry about getting it. That ball is popping loose, and it looks like the U.S. will take possession. They're just going to muck. And the ball winds up popping into the corner, and the Aussies will head to their bench. They've got one guy heading back. That's going to be Isaac Dishon. Now he's going to get off the floor. In Australia, a bunch of players who have played in the tournament as well. Here come the U.S. into the offensive zone. Watch out for Raphael Katz, who has the ball there. They have some great shooters on this side, and they have a wide open look in the first goal of the game. Luke McNamara buries that one past the starting goalie, Lucas Dishon.
Yeah, no question he wasn't in the crease on that goal, but watch as he comes across, goes back to the short side. Goaltender Dishon kind of jumps to his right, anticipating him going to the far side. Here you're going to see all alone, and he just whips it in the short side. Just a little pick on roll, and both defenders jumped high.
You wonder if Dishon actually thought he was going to pass it to the player behind the net, because it looked like Dishon was going that way almost for the pass more than the shot. At the other end of the floor, Aiden Malone is starting his third year with the U.S. team. He and Jackson Curtis, or Curtis Jackson, I am so sorry, I can never remember the order of Curtis Jackson's name, but they were the goalies back-to-back years for the gold medal and then the bronze medal. Malone this year probably going to be the main guy, but he does have Beck Hagen with him as well, a younger guy that they are pretty excited about. Cornette running behind the net. Orlando Kernigan cuts in front. You might recognize Kernigan from last year, or if you live in BC, he played for the Delta Islanders this summer in Junior B. But right now, the captain, Declan Landers, on the run. There's another goal. That's a beauty from Benjamin Pusak, another returner, and he had fakes for days.
Well, an odd man rush, and as you said, it faked for days, and Dishon really probably overreacted to the first fake, really came out, and by the time he put this in the net, it was a wide open net, and he jumps out at that one. The ball's still in his stick, and a nice little scoop pass. And that was Pusak scored that goal, was it?
It was Benjamin Pusak. And now the captain has the ball, Jackson Close. Makes the pass down, and it is tracked down there by Anthony Green. He was saying before the game, as we were chatting with him and some of the players, and head coach Wade Hammond, we were saying, you're ready for it? And he said, well, I'm kind of transition. And Wade's like, don't give away our secrets. I said, no, I've highlighted you in blue. You're a righty forward now. You have to play forward.
You're where I tell you, where I marked it on my sheet. Yes.
Once I've highlighted you. U.S. pushes it up over center, the ball in the stick there of Tyler Sebastian. some big guys on this U.S. team. They like to go for size, but they've also got some smaller players who are very good. Ian Wicks behind the net. Watch out for him. He can shoot, as can the man there. That was Nicholas Elam. But the stop.
Not a difficult save, but a nice save for Dishon so he could feel that ball. I think it was the third shot on net. First one that didn't go in.
Austin Longstaff hands it off there for Xander Kamak. And Kamak's got Kernigan setting a pick. Kernigan was the 4th leading scorer on the Delta Islanders in Junior B Tier 1. And he's going to let one rip. That one's well off the mark and probably going to be an over and back. It will be, so the U.S. will get the ball back. It's always a bit of a development process for Australia, but one of the cool things is they've got so many players coming back, and you get to see the development year to year because there's much more happening. In Australia, they have a dedicated box arena, or a box, an outdoor box, but it's awesome. Outside of Melbourne.
Well, I like the rebound that Dishon has showed since those first 2 goals. He has been good on those outside shots. That's 3 saves in a row.
And he really got beat by the first 3 shots, right? Because there was the
that's
Gadbois called off goal. Here's Pusek again, and he pounces out. Deshaun loves to get going.
Who scored that first goal for the U.S. again?
The first one was, I'll just pull it up on the score sheet where you can go to IIJL.org and pull it up, and it was Luke McNamara, the lefty.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, Wade Hammond. Drew Petkoff, the head coach for the U.S., was saying they have some shooters on their left side. Here's a spinning move. Trying to get in tight is Luke Spivey. He's going to whip it across to the near side. Kamak quickly back to Green, who's trying to beat the shot clock. Didn't quite make it.
And the U.S. is just keeping everything to the outside so far.
Declan Landers, number 11, there's the captain of this U.S. team, another veteran, great leader, and a nice kid. He was the one who came and opened the gate for us to get down to the floor pre-game. Make sure we were clear. And here's a drive to the net, another goal from McNamara. And the little stutter step hesitation just opens that wide up for him.
Yeah, and he beat his defender cleanly there. And was it Tyler Sebastian who scored it, or it's Luke McNamara?
I think it's Luke McNamara again.
Yeah, it is. Just goes one-on-one, and really he was barely touched.
But I think barely might be a strong word for the way he was touched on that one. And they are getting wide open in the net. And the thing, I mean, Drew Petkoff trying to be very respectful, but said, the Australians tend to be younger. They tend not to be the key guys, but they want to take this seriously. They want to see what they can learn from this game. They expected. There's Wick driving to the net. Oh, and somebody's got to get on him. There you go. Oh, it's just to get the ball.
Pushed out of the way to get the ball. Well, those are some of the nuances of the game that they have to learn.
Yeah.
Nobody touches our goalie.
I jumped on a bench with Serbia at the E-Box one year, helping Stu Sturparn out. And our goalie got run over. Here's a shot from the outside by Spivey. Nice save there by Aiden Malone. But somebody ran over our goalie, and then they're in a heap. He kind of gets up, walks off to the penalty box for his goalie interference. And at the next break, I said, I don't know about Stu, but I don't mind you taking a penalty, and if somebody runs our goalie, he does not get up and walk to the penalty box. I might have added a couple of adjectives. Like, get after him. But that's the thing. Again, being Canadian, we grew up with that.
Yes.
It's just natural. Somebody gets your goalie, you do not let it happen.
If you knock a goalie, you should be looking around and say, who's coming at you now?
Exactly. Nice knockdown by Declan Landers, who's going to spin out. Great job popping back to his feet. Looks like a couple of slick spots. It's going to be really important for these players to have clean shoes. That is huge. You want to have the hairspray or the mat, by the edge of the change box, and you got to keep your shoes clean. The concrete's fine as long as you've got the proper footwear.
No, you're right. That's probably something the average fan, especially on TV, doesn't even think about.
Hand save. It's like a kitten pawing that ball out of the air.
He's played well.
I like it.
But you're right, Stamper. Sometimes, and I don't think the floor is sweaty in this case, but we've seen it sometimes on humid days where it looks like the floor is sweating.
U.S. going back to the offense with a fresh 30, holding a 3-0 lead. In Australia, you can see the bounce back from them, the way they are getting into this, trying to limit things, and then just as I say that, they let a wide open look for Gadbois, but he misses the net.
Yeah, it almost looks like the pick and roll, they're not quite getting how to react. Another nice save.
Yep. And really nice control as he falls, keeping that one in front of him. Little outlet pass ahead to Mason Close. And Lucas Dishon is saying, or sorry, Isaac Dishon, trying to direct traffic with his head. He's going to get to the bench. Nice hustle to get off the floor, but that pass gets away, and it'll be the U.S. turning it forward with Bowden Bounds.
And we haven't seen any transition yet. I guess we did see that one. Was it the third goal, 3-on-1?
Australia gets possession. They'll move it forward through Xander Kamak. Big pick from, Kernigan has it. I was throwing a pick. He has the ball. He is getting some attention. You know the U.S. is very well aware that Kernigan is the big threat. He had a fantastic tournament last year.
They just double teamed him there, but when he looked around, it didn't look like anybody was available.
Longstaff with a shot. Looking behind him was Aiden Malone. And Longstaff's going to go in and get that one back. Austin Longstaff listed a transition, but he is playing up front a bunch. And speaking of Canadian style, got some pretty good whacks on the back, on the trail of Carson Forney, sorry. Another veteran.
And that was some good defense by Australia. They ran back hard and double teamed the American player.
And I like this. Longstaff's looking for someone, and he's going to get to the bench.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's going to be an over and back.
Yeah. I mean, it was almost he almost took too long to get the ball over.
Yeah. So the U.S. going to the offense once again. They hand it off to Ian Wick. And, don't let him shoot. That's a good job coming up because he is deadly when you let him get in a rhythm. And then underneath, diving, is that one good? No, it's a crease violation. I love that call because the ball hit the crease, hit the post, and then the back of the goalie.
Yep.
And Pusak had landed in the crease by that point. Green heading into the offensive zone again, and some big pressure knocking the ball loose. That's Bowden Bounds.
Oh, boy. A good effort to get the ball back.
Great work there by Spivey. He saw that lane that we saw, Shanny, but it just closed down.
He thought about it.
Yeah. I think if he's a righty, he goes in and takes that shot. Eli Mortimer Underwood taking a shift up front, wearing the number 25 for Australia. His dad helping out with the coaching, and Eli, big presence for this Australian club.
Maybe not the best shot selection on that last shot. It was an outside shot, but not a whole lot behind it. That's an easy crease call.
Yeah.
And that's probably the one area so far in this game where the United States have got to clean up. They've stepped in the crease a number of times.
At least 3 crease violations
and not
called.
even necessary. I don't think he had more room than he realized.
The one by Pusak where he jumped across was understandable, but the others are just stepping in the crease.
Yeah.
U.S. will start with possession here.
Well, pretty aggressive pick on over, too aggressive. They had to turn over the ball, but I'd like to see Australia at least trying some hard picks.
Yeah, we're going to have our first penalty of the game, and standing close to the box was Daniel Gutnecht, who has played for Poland a few times at the IIJL World Juniors.
Tripping call.
That's a good effort, but like you said, maybe a little bit too much. Strong left for the U.S., and McNamara just blasts one. Another nice save by Dishon. There's a hard shot that goes wide. That's going to be an over and back, and that'll help Australia out.
Let's see how aggressive the U.S. is to get that ball back.
Yeah, so the U.S. scored their goals in a stretch of just under 3 minutes. From 13:49 to go until 10:52 to go. Now it's been a stretch where Australia is kind of holding them in check a bit and making it harder. Now, there have been the goals that were called back because of the crease, but it seems like when Australia's having breakdowns, they're big breakdowns. Right now, they're going to try and cause a breakdown in the U.S. power play defense. Thought they were actually going to run a two-man game. I felt like Kernaghan was kind of open, and that is going to be a sandwich on the forward for Australia. Keaton Nicholson, but he gets the shot off.
Well, that was impressive that Nicholson maintained that ball, because ball got knocked loose and he got it back to get a shot. Short-handed.
Trying to force the timeline violation, and almost did, kind of force the Americans to go around. They will set back up, and you can see Katz was thinking about the rip. And there is a rip for the Americans, and that's Pusak again, making it 4-0, just as we were talking about how the Aussies were holding them off. But you're not going to hold this U.S. power play down forever.
No, they were taking a few outside shots in their first set. This time they move the ball around again, and an outside shot, but he just is able to step in it. Nobody steps up to him. No stick on stick, and yeah, you're going to score all night. If you allow teams to take shots like that in this U.S. team, they've got some good shooters.
And the Australian coaching staff is going to be telling the guys, don't chase, don't go out too far when you're on your penalty kill, but you do have to get on the shooters. And it's a hard lesson to learn. It's a hard balance to find.
And we always talk about, field players learning box lacrosse, and a lot of these U.S. players have played a lot of box lacrosse, but the one thing you can do, whether you're field or box, is shoot.
Yeah.
Outside shots. Every U.S. player has been doing that their whole lives.
Carson Forney is going to the box for the U.S. on a slashing call. I believe it was a little retaliation after he felt the Australian player got a little high with his stick up into his throat area. But now we're going to see the Australian power play, and this will be an interesting one. I expect Kernaghan to play a big role. He's 22 at the shooter spot.
I'm actually surprised he's not at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. They're still going to try to feed the ball to him.
Yeah, Kamak will be at the top. You're going to go down low, as they've got Anthony Green on the righty crease. Now they will rotate. Kernaghan's at the top. They're going to get it to him. That's a pretty good lane. Rips it. Big save, Aiden Malone.
Yeah,
a lot behind that shot.
And I think that's a nice little play to set up to make a little more room than Kernaghan than he would have had just on the shooter spot.
See, and then this one, just as you talk about that, they basically do nothing and just throw it to him, and that gets blocked. No over and back, but they're down to 14.
Body,
yeah. 14 now, 10 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to have to get moving.
I don't think he realizes the urgency.
Oh, that one's picked off. Could be a problem here as Kyle Gann is going to take off on the run. He'll pull up. Good job under the tight checking there from Kamak. Kamak stuck out on D, but no big deal. I mean, you're on the power play D. He can just take a spot.
I think Kamak did a good job running with the player and then checking him pretty hard and give him a few nice slashes as well.
Yeah. The Australians are never shy about using the stick. Yeah, once they get told you're allowed to hit people with your stick, they love the game.
You don't have to be told twice.
No, you do not. Shot clock will expire. Good penalty kill by the U.S. Another 42 seconds to go on this man advantage. Kernaghan. Again, played for the Delta Islanders. He was shopping for a place to be. He really wanted to come after playing for Australia in Erie, Pennsylvania last summer at the World Juniors. He really wanted to come up to Canada and play. And he was pretty excited to get a spot and to play a bunch of games. That one's a turnover, though, and the U.S. is going to be able to kill the rest of this power play. Jack Silva, actually, they're just going to go after this because Australia was a little lackadaisical about getting back on him. They gave Pusak a great chance.
Yeah, getting the man come off the bench, but look at this.
Oh, nice catch. Kernaghan in all alone, misses the net. Tried to get a little too fancy. Coming near post.
Still odd man if they use it, not anymore.
Oh, great pass. Spivey, a beautiful move across, but it just got out of the stick of Gutknecht. Gutknecht thought about the big swipe. That was a penalty waiting to happen. Almost a little 55-on-55 violence as Nick Schaller was running up the floor for the U.S. That one gets out of play, and it will be Australian ball. We're down to the final minute and a half of the first quarter. I'm Steven Stamp with Brian Shanahan. It's the 2025 IIJL World Juniors from Slush Puppie Place on Tragically Hip Way. Prepare yourself to hear a lot of hip this week. It's the soundtrack of the tournament, and I'm loving it.
Plays like that one just hurt. They're throwing the ball away early in the shot clock.
You just got to possess the ball. You got to value the ball, and that's what they'll be told. Kyle Gann hands it off. The U.S. back to even strength. We're going to see what they can do. They're taking a while to get their change completed. That's another one that the coaches will talk to them about. Here's Katz. Oh, he'll shoot from there, but he's going to pass it down low instead. Good decision. Great save. Dishing going across with Nicholas Elam. Jackson Close quickly up into the offensive zone, and the Australians will set up with Mortimer Underwood taking this ball. Austin Longstaff wants it up top, but they're going to go into the middle, and that's not going to work out. They'll be grabbed by Braden Kuzma. But some forecheck pressure makes it difficult, and that ball will be turned over if Longstaff can come up with it. Got some, ooh, that's going to be a loose ball push on Nick Schaller. And luckily it wasn't more aggressive because that's a penalty waiting to happen there. Jackson Close over to Spivey.
I don't know if they realize there's only 8 seconds to go.
They're banging on the boards, but I mean, Spivey is just, yeah, he was trying to get the shot off and then finished the quarter actually with a bit of a slash to the head of Jack Silva. And now we're going to have a penalty going to, I think, is it?
The U.S. has got one for sure, and I think it's only the U.S.
Yeah, it's Carson Forney again. He was frustrated by that, but it is 4-0 after the first quarter. Certainly some improvement for Australia as the quarter went on, Shanny, and we're going to take a quick break and be back for quarter number 2 with Australia going to the power play and trying to break that goose egg. We'll see you from the IIJL World Juniors in a couple of minutes.
Good. My take is that the U.S. has looked a lot better, but
Sure. Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2025 IIJL World Juniors from the original capital of Canada, Kingston, Ontario. We're at Slush Puppie Place on Tragically Hip Way. I'm Stephen Stepp with Brian Shanahan. And Shanny, what are you seeing from the U.S., who obviously have to be fairly happy with this start, but maybe not thrilled?
I agree. They're obviously the better team so far, and at times they are just walking in untouched offensively. But Australia's hanging in there. I think if I'm Australia, I'm saying that I'm the coach. We didn't play well, and we're only down 4-0. Their defense sometimes just looked like they gave up on some plays, but they're not showing much offense. So, yeah, the U.S. is the better team by far, but they can't be totally happy with that period either because it was relatively sloppy. But first game of the tournament, you got to expect that.
Yeah, a lot of guys coming together. It's interesting, the U.S., we mentioned how many guys have been back. About half the team played last year for this club. A bunch of them played the year before. And they have a rigorous tryout process. You have to apply, you have to go through tryouts
I was
in
impressed
Deerfield,
there.
Massachusetts, at the USIL kind of training center. And yeah, it's something to be
It's
on
a big
this
deal.
team.
Yes.
There's Don Hilton, assistant coach for the U.S., having a close look at what's going on. Drew Petkoff is the head man. And Wade Hammond, head coach of Australia, has his club on the power play. Again, Kernaghan over at the shooter spot, as once again Kamak at the top. And they're going to start with some perimeter passing that, oh my goodness, you got to complete those passes. They're not even, that's just like everyone having a touch.
Yeah, you don't want to take too many long passes through sticks.
Oh, Luke Spivey, what a finish. Quick catch and release, takes the pass from behind the net from Anthony Green and just bangs it home.
Very unconventional power play. I mean, they made a few long passes through lots of sticks, and this didn't even look like a wide open play. Comes behind the net, but you see Spivey calling for it, and yeah, the pass comes through and he just reaches and bounces it through the legs.
Yeah, gets that 5-hole spot. That's a lovely pass from Anthony Green, who I'm really enjoying. I think he might be new to the tournament, a youngster. All these players, just about all these players are from Australia, playing in Australia. A few guys with Australian heritage, but this is an Australian team. We also have one player from New Zealand playing on this team, which I think is really cool.
Which I think close enough from our point of view.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, New Zealand clearly doesn't have enough of an infrastructure for their own team, so I love them joining the Aussies. I know it's like New Zealand. Oh, what a catch. Great interception there by Austin Longstaff, who's having a great game. And he's got a man, he's got Kernaghan off the bench, passes it to him. Oh, off the post.
That was a nice play from start to finish.
Yeah.
Obviously, they would have liked to score a goal.
I love, yeah, oh, there is a penalty coming. Is it going to be unsportsmanlike?
I think it could be too many men on the floor as well.
Oh, it's interference. It's Kernaghan. We got to see this one again because that's a big hit. And I like that the American player didn't really complain. He just looked up at the ref with his helmet askew.
Yeah, the U.S., if they had looked up the floor, they had about 4 players. There was like at least 4 Aussies in the offensive zone going after that one player. Eventually got him.
Pusick will be at the top. He's got a pair for the Americans, as does McNamara. Pusick there is their 5. McNamara there 4. He's got the ball back to Pusick. They're taking their time around the perimeter. Big check by Longstaff. Nice save by Dishon. And Jackson Close taps it back to him. Already in the crease. Oh, you got to be ready for that one. Jack Higgins gets flattened, but is going to come away with the ball. That was a little 5-on-5 action.
He's running out of time.
Yeah, the 10-second count is violated.
I mean, he did well to get back up. Good play by the U.S. to make that hit, but you got to realize when you've been knocked down, you've killed about 5 or 6 seconds. Just throw that ball up the floor and hope your team might get it.
I like the Pusick play to just stand there knowing the 10 seconds was going to run out.
Yeah.
Don't take a penalty because it's so easy when you're behind him by the boards. And Pusick is pointing out to, oh, they've got him. It's too far. Austin Longstaff's had a great game, but he just led that one too much for Elliot Cornett. Oh, and here's a 2-on-1 for the Americans. Pusick shoots. It was the right decision, just couldn't quite finish it. He's indicating he likes to get involved with, he's like using the hand signal to calm down his teammates, pointing there for the indicating the touch to the officials. He's been right about everything.
Yeah.
So.
And not to jinx him, but I like the way Deshaun has played.
I was thinking you just jinxed him.
I know.
The ball goes wide.
I mean, the U.S. scored, 3 goals probably in the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was that 3-minute span starting about a minute and a half in. And and since then, it's a 1-1 game. Pusick's going to let it rip right in the kangaroo on the belly of Lucas Dishon.
And I think there's going to become a point where the U.S. gets a little frustrated. Those outside shots are not even coming close, really.
No. And Gutnick's just going to wait. They're in no hurry as this penalty will expire in 10 seconds. U.S. isn't going to pressure, so it will end. Anthony Green had the assist on the lone Aussie goal so far. He's going to invert as he carries the ball over to Shooter.
Very good start to the period for the Aussies. I love the fact that they're working on that fast break off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, with the long change, you're going to have those chances. You got to take care of it the other way, though, and that's a great job.
What's the call here?
Too many men. Illegal substitution on. Who's it on?
It has to be the Aussies.
It's got to be. Trying to take that away. I love the hustle by Luke Spivey, though.
Yeah, well, you know, the man came off the bench, and that's who was called. The man came off the bench early, but it turned out to be unnecessary. Spivey made a nice interception.
So the U.S. back to the power play. They're going to switch things up, go lefty strong. They'll put McNamara up at the top. We've got Raphael Katz over the shooter spot, and Ian Wick down on the crease. Backdoor pass. Here's Pusick. There's a rip. That goes off a stick on the way in. So it shouldn't be an over and back. Now it will.
That should be.
That's over and back.
Yeah, he called it. He called it. He heard us.
Yeah. Yeah, he may have. Oh, here's a break for Drinkall. Oh, big save. Love the hustle by Spencer Drinkall. I know you like his name.
Nice.
He's been going on about it a fair bit.
That's right. That's what I say at the end of the night. Drinkall. But yeah, good effort. Wrong side of the floor, but he still managed to get a good shot, and good for the Aussies to get that ball back.
Gutnick pass to the far side. Anthony Green, I don't know if he convinced anyone he was going to shoot that one on the fake. Kamak trying to fight some work there to get a look as they shoot late in the 30. Good penalty kill. They get it ahead to Jack Silva, who will leave it there, and Pusick will set it up. One thing you'll see from American teams, very systems-oriented, very kind of meticulous, trying to stick to what they're supposed to be doing. I think it arises from a lot of the field background. Another save by Dishon, though. This is a young man who's grown more confident throughout the tournaments. Oh, that's a possibly unnecessarily alacritus pass.
And Kamak was wide open. Kamak was potentially an easy outlet.
Yeah, that's one where you'll learn. You figure that out. I know Jack Higgins is a veteran. He'll get the handle. Like, I can just make an easier pass. Or another save by Dishon, and then it gets off the post. U.S. gets it back. They've got a full 30. Oh my goodness. Shot. Yeah. Fisher Gadbois, who has played for Poland, and they were very impressed with him in the tryout process. Now he has his first goal with the U.S.
Yeah, and you know what? Deshaun, who's been playing very well, taking away all the outside shots. This one is pretty much a perfect shot, top corner. Yeah, that's an excellent shot. And really just a handful of seconds left on the power play. Australia had looked like the better team pretty much on that power play.
Yeah. In and out so fast, but no question it was in first. And Declan Landers will win this faceoff. You could have run over center. Now you can't, probably. He flicks it away. Good job to avoid the over and back by Landers. That's another one where, you've got to get used to the fact you have that one time you can go back on the faceoff, go back over center. He could have used it there, but once he stood up and waited, it wouldn't. Now there's a penalty coming, and Landers thought about delivering some retribution immediately and decided, no, I'll just let Spencer Drinkall sit in the box and we'll take our retribution on the power play.
Yeah, I missed this. I was watching Elijah Mortimer Underwood somehow squeeze out of trouble on that play, and number 11 Drinkall comes in. Let's watch. Yeah, there was absolutely no need for that. I mean, it did look a bit like a pick that turned into a hit.
Backdoor attempt for the U.S. Strong left again, and McNamara another rip. That's going to be an over and back. It's going to go into the...
No, that did hit a stick.
Nope.
Nope, I guess not.
You're 100% wrong, Shanny.
100% of the time.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but on this case, Anthony Green is going to start with it. He let himself drift over to his offside. They're going to toss it up top. They are shorthanded for another minute 37 still. Kernigan well out by the boards, but you can see he's always looking for somewhere to get to. I just like watching him play. He's so active and athletic.
I haven't really seen it yet, but I love when teams are shorthanded and drive to the net.
Yeah.
It almost turned into a spectacular pass.
It did.
It might not have been
it
necessary.
wasn't necessary.
But yes.
That's one because the pass was knocked down by an American stick, so Green could have just stepped over center and then grabbed it. It's over and back. But once he grabbed it on the side, oh my goodness. A little drag into a shot from Jack Silva. And that's a beauty.
Yeah, and I think that's just fooled Deshaun because it's a 2-on-1 and he's looking off the pass. And even when he takes this shot, I thought it was a pass.
Well, he reaches around Longstaff, right?
Yeah, he reaches like he's making that. Wasn't a really hard shot, but found some net.
I mean, I don't really blame Lucas Dishon much for that one because even watching the replay, I'm like, there's no way you're reaching around that defender and pulling it near pipe. There's no way. He's got to be passing far side or shooting far side, right? So that's an incredible shot by Jack Silva. And here's another chance to get it to the man on his offside, but Pusick will just switch hands. Now he's going to go back around behind the net and switch to his right hand. The U.S. bounces it near side to Tyler Sebastian, one of those big forwards. Pass behind the net. They love the dunk attempts, getting to take a chance out of them. I thought we might see one from behind the net. They're going to pass in front. Almost a tip drill goal by Nicholas Elam.
Okay, the referees are disagreeing with each other. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're saying it went off an Australian. I thought.
No, that went off the U.S. player.
Yeah, for sure. Correct? It went off Elam's stick. I don't think it touched anyone on the way out. So apparently, like the rest of us, referees are fallible, and that's going to be a penalty as Longstaff is debucketed. I love watching Austin Longstaff play too. He's just got a ton of energy, and he can really play. So that's going to be Tyler Sebastian going to the box for 2 minutes.
And that was Longstaff who got his helmet knocked off.
Yeah.
U.S. was on the offense. I mean, we've seen a number of penalties in this. I think, in a way, that both teams have been a little bit careless about taking penalties.
Kamak moves it on to Kernigan. Again, same power play setup we've been seeing for the Australians. Gutneck. Again, a dropped pass. I think that time it was just Spivey thinking ready to shoot before. Oh my goodness! Change that ball out. That's a greaser.
Getting sloppy, yeah. I don't think Spivey likes his stick.
No, Kernigan had a great lane. I think he kind of double clutched. Just when when you feel like it's not quite in your stick.
Yeah.
He almost needed to wait longer. I think after that, after finally getting hold of it. Remember, go to IIJL.org. All the games are there. They are live scored. You can see who's scoring. You can see the schedule. Check out the rosters. It's going to be a fascinating tournament. And right now, the U.S. trying to convince the Australians are going to try to drive to the net, but they're just going to sit back now, let these last 4 seconds of the 30 expire. Or are they? Yeah, a little spin underneath, but time to run out on Fisher-Gadbois. And Jackson Close will bring it up for the Aussies.
I am surprised they didn't try just for a late long shot. You know, sometimes it goes off the goalie and into the crowd. Oh boy.
Yeah, Keaton Nicholson's pass gets away, and the U.S. will come back and be able to kill off about half of the remaining time in the penalty. Nice save, Dishon saw that one coming.
Not a good choice to take that shot, kind of a 1-on-3. Your team is shorthanded, you better kill the ball, but U.S. fortunate they got the ball right back.
Nicholas Elam has it, and he is weathering the storm of green jerseys all around him. You've got to be so careful.
Yeah.
Around along the boards, you can easily take a penalty.
And as soon as the guy goes down, you got to stop hitting.
Yeah. It's physical. These guys are getting into it back there, and eventually they're going to call it U.S. ball. That's huge. They can kill the rest of the penalty now. Pusick at the top. Just waves the guys off. Now he's saying, somebody come here. He may indicate, signal more with his hands than anybody I've seen. He's like pointing to the penalty box. He's coming from there. He's like, okay, I'm going to give you the ball. I'm going to go inside. I don't hate it. Tyler Sebastian came back into the play. Hard rip. But McNamara was stopped. That was just before the 30.
Oh boy.
It's too far. Nice hustle by Keaton Nicholson getting after it, but he just can't catch up, and Bowden Bounds will come back for the U.S. Bounce to Katz. That long pass didn't connect. It's looking like the Australian power play. That's a little mean, but
that is mean. but a lesson that Australia should take is, when they get that ball, they got to run first.
Yeah.
Run first, pass second.
Yeah, get yourself going and have a look.
Because they're standing at a standstill and they're not getting that pass.
Yeah. And the other thing, and it's hard to do, but the other thing is to have a sense, like take a look early so you know where you're going to be going, rather than looking up and trying to find it after you get the ball. Kernaghan, great shot on the two-man game. Lovely pass from Eli Mortimer Underwood, and Kernaghan buries the bouncer.
Well, I'll tell you, it fooled me. I thought Mortimer Underwood was going across the floor. I looked the wrong area. And the next thing you know, it's in the net. Okay, there's Mortimer Underwood. He's got the ball, and he just flips it inside. Yeah, I thought he was going across the floor, but no, it was into the center to Orlando Kernaghan. He reached up and then put it in the net, so it's a nice goal. And as you said, a well-executed two-man game for the Aussies.
And Eli Mortimer Underwood, I think it's fair to say he's not the quickest player on the floor, but he is so resilient. You talked about earlier about how he somehow got out of a triple team with possession of the ball. He will work and work and work.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think he got off to a great start in the game. He got beat badly defensively very early on. But on offense, he's pretty sure-handed.
Yes.
And, we've seen him a few times with the crowds, the guys around him, and he's got a lot of size, so he absorbs those hits pretty easily.
Katz's shot is knocked away. Nice defensive play there by Elliot Cornett. The shot clock will expire, and Cornett on that one, that's where they need to be helping him out.
Look up the floor. Oh, boy.
They had Kernaghan again, and Drinkall just didn't see him. Could have threaded the needle. By the time he looked, he was covered.
And Kernaghan's the man you want to hit. If he's first off the bench, he's very skilled. He's probably going to catch that, but we've seen him catch some that are not good passes.
Yes, that one he caught in the first quarter.
Yeah.
That was down by his feet right on the concrete. I thought there's no way he's catching that. And he did. Had a good chance. Oh, that's a big swing. My goodness. And another one.
Oh,
nice save on Braden Kuzma by Dishon, who is really dialing in. Again, first three shots of the game beat him. Now Kernaghan wide open. You can't catch that. If he had, that would have been spectacular. Oh, what a shot. Spivey spinning. We got to watch that one again when we get a chance.
Yeah, but it's going to be a penalty for Australia, checking the man in the crease.
Yeah. Look at the wheels on the goaltender, Aiden Malone. He was Christian Del Biancoing it to the bench.
This is just a messy play. And then, you can't hit the guy when he's in the crease.
I love the try by Spivey, though, just spinning to get that shot off.
It's a wasted opportunity, though. There's been a number of times where Aussies have got the ball and they've got guys wide open. That time there was three bodies wide open and made a bad pass.
I think the Australians are thinking line drives for their passes when you just need to know sometimes you can kind of lob it up a bit.
And you know what? The U.S., if I'm their defensive coach, I'm saying, why are we leaving them this open?
Yeah, let's not leave their best player with nobody within 20 feet of them. Nice pass down. Going up to get it with Sebastian. He hands it off. That shot goes a little wide. Snagged nicely there by Jack Higgins, who's just going to roll that one the length of the floor. And he puts his hand up and says, sorry, guys.
I think he threw it to the area that somebody might be coming off the bench, but there was no chance for any Aussies to get to that bench for a change.
No. Another save, and Lucas Dishon is seeing the ball very well.
Yes. Yeah. He's a much better goalie than he was for those first 3 minutes. He was bouncing all over the place the first few minutes, but he has been solid, especially on the outside shots.
And, the Australians in general were kind of bouncing all over the place, and it's the World Junior Championship. They've flown the 25-hour trip, whatever it is, from Australia to get here. They're fired up to go out and play, and I think that's part of it. You're jet lagged, partly you're all excited. There's a lot of things to deal with. They have really rebounded nicely. Remember, it was 4-0. Since then,
it's been
pretty close game.
This second quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Over and back, so the Aussies will get it.
I instead of taking their time, I think the Aussies should have picked up that ball. They might have had
Yeah.
Fast break.
Yeah, go for the quick restart.
Yeah.
Anthony Green takes it here. And they're still short for another 30 seconds. They can kill a good chunk of it. But they feed it through to Kernigan, and boy, he's made some great catches and dropped the easier one.
that was not a bad pass.
Yep. Boy, Kernigan, the nice seal. Now Declan Landers, great shot. The American captain gives Dishon no chance as he cuts around that lovely bench seal.
Yeah, you know, 2-on-1, but as you said, the man coming off the bench wasn't thinking about receiving a pass. Let's watch here. Yeah, the man comes off the bench. He doesn't want that ball. He just sets a big pick.
He never even had his stick up, right? He was making it clear, no pass, just come and get your shot, Declan. And the captain puts it home.
Yeah, Captain Declan Landers. Was that officially a power play goal? I think
yeah, I think it was. I think there was still a few seconds left. It'll come up shortly. Into the final minute of the half. 7-2, the U.S. leading, and they're looking to extend that. The ball comes to Gadbois. He's going underneath. Dives to the net. It's good. I thought I saw the referee start the wave action. Instead, the hands go straight up in the air. First diving goal of the game. It's 8-2.
Yeah, I got to see this one again. And who was that put
Tyler
that
Sebastian.
Let's see him just coming down low.
Oh, he's in the crease though.
yeah. Yeah. Well, let's look again. Yeah, I mean they've been a lot tighter earlier in the game. That one seemed more obvious.
Yeah. The first angle you could really see it, right? That right foot just landing on the line, no question. Great job here by Close to come away with the ball and plow his way through. Now hand it off.
Yeah, just
there you go.
They're sometimes missing the opportunity to make the pass. I know it's tough when a guy's right on your back.
Timeout, just beating the shot. Anthony Green, I'm not sure if he thought he heard the yelling, if he thought they were saying get a shot.
Yeah. Which
is, obviously not the play with about 20 seconds to go and you've got possession. Now, there is only 13 showing on the shot clock. So there's a 5-second difference. I don't know if they're going to pull Dishon. It'd be pretty dangerous. That's a long difference.
Yeah, and if you take that shot a little early, it's even more dangerous. 3 seconds is plenty of time to get the ball up the floor to make a good pass and put it in. I think I'd do it anyhow. I think
You're a riverboat gambler by nature.
Down 7-2 though.
Yeah.
8-2.
8-2. Yeah.
Oh, 8-2. That's right.
Wade Hammond drawing it up for his team. Looks like I just see 4 of them on the floor around him, and Dishon still staying on the floor. So they'll probably come out just with their 5 guys. Hopefully they do send 5. Plays blown to come back to their positions, get started.
Yeah, Dishon staying on the bench.
He is. There you go. Send a couple more guys then.
Now, what'll be interesting, do you think the U.S. will just stand back, or do you think they'll aggressively go out and attack?
I don't know.
I mean, they could probably get away with it, aggressively attacking
they could.
In this game. They might
especially if the Aussies don't send their 6th attacker out.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Orlando Kernigan's like, we need another guy out here, and it's going to be Spivey.
Yeah, he almost said no.
Yeah, he was debating. They're going to wait. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Here they go. Kernigan with it. They're just going to seal for him to let it rip. It's picked up by the defender, Maverick Schultz.
Like 7 seconds to go.
And Schultz just sends it the length of the floor. There was lots of time on the empty net.
Sometimes, and you see that with the inexperienced teams, they just look up, see an empty net, and they say, I'm throwing it.
Hey, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, there was lots of time to get the ball down there. There would not have been time for the Aussies to come back up the floor. So it's 8-2 through 30 minutes of play at the opening game of Christmas in July. I know it's still a couple days to go in June, but it's Christmas in July. World Juniors by IIJL here in Kingston at Tragically Hip Way. I'm Stephen Stamp with Brian Shanahan, and we will be back with you in about 7 minutes to have some highlights from that first half. Thanks so much, Lacrosse friends. We'll see you shortly. How much of us is it showing?
Oh, we can see.
Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2025 IIJL World Junior Lacrosse Championships. I'm Stephen Stamp with Brian Shanahan, and it's 8-2 for the U.S. after a very quick start for the Americans, but a pretty good bounce back from the Australians.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, Stamper, you're like 6'11", right? Because
6'8".
Look at me, how short I am here. But yes, it was a great start for the Americans. They went up 4-0 in the first quarter and 4-2 in the second quarter. But it's fair to say that the Aussies really did bounce back in that second quarter, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they did. They got a couple of goals. They had some other chances. Orlando Kernigan getting dangerous. We're seeing guys like Anthony Green and Luke Spivey really getting involved, and it's looking pretty good. And defensively, you know, their group of Austin Longstaff and Jack Higgins and those guys are starting to feel maybe a little more comfortable and confident going up against the Americans, but the U.S. just has such firepower.
Yeah, and I'd say in the second half especially, or second quarter especially, the U.S. has really had to earn their goals. They've got 3 quick goals as this game started that were like too easy. Guys went in untouched, and we're going to have a look at some of these goals from both teams. And I assume this was the start of the game because it didn't take very long for the U.S. to get a scoring opportunity, and I think this was the one that Gadwa was called for an increase. Or no, that's Luke the McNamara just walking in, beating the goaltender, and that's Puzak scoring his first of the game. There's his second goal of the game of the power play, and yeah, the U.S. went up 3-0 very quick. That made it 4-0, and I think we're into the second half here, and the U.S. got a couple transition opportunities. That's Captain Declan Landers scoring there, but as I said, they are earning their goals now. No easy goals for the U.S. Watch the big hit. We've had a few. We've had a few.
We have
slightly dirty hits, and you know, a lot of penalties, and most of these penalties have not been taking away scoring chances. They're just big picks that have turned a little too aggressive. But we've had good goaltending by both teams, and it's really opened up.
It has, and you know, it's interesting that we are here at 8-2. We're going to get rolling with the second half, and it's going to be fun to see how the Australians develop because it's all about growth for them, and we saw a lot in that half.
Yeah, and you know what? I think their coaching staff is going to tell them, like, if we hit the guys that are open, we're going to get a lot more chances because there's guys getting behind the defenders all the time. They're just not making the passes.
All right, let's see what happens as we get going again. It's 8-2 U.S. over Australia at the World Juniors. We have the 11s meeting for the face-offs. That's Drinkall for the Australians. He will go up against Declan Landers, the American captain. And Landers will get possession, heads to the bench. They get it down into the corner, picked off there, and Anthony Green is ready. He'll step up over around a slight pick from Austin Longstaff. Longstaff looking back to Green. The Australians with the first possession of the second half, trailing 8-2. Straight in the middle of the chest of Beck Hagan, who's come in for the second half for the Americans.
Yeah, I don't think that's the play you want to make when you finally get everybody on the floor for your offense. Just a long outside shot. I'm sure there was at least 20 seconds left in the shot clock.
Australia will continue to go with Lucas Dishon, who has been outstanding between the pipes since early on. I know it's 8-2, but he's made some terrific saves. The percentage might not be great, but he's made some dandies. That was one of his easier ones, actually kind of handcuffed and goes straight back to the Americans as Ian Wick has it. We'll flip it over to Pusak.
And generally, I think that Australians have done a better job defensively. And oh boy.
That was a lot. As you're saying that, I'm like, there's that whole far pipe available. Dishon did step out to try and take the angle away, but Ian Wick just blasts that one.
And I don't really blame anyone for this one. I mean, that's what I was saying, you know, during the intermission highlights is the U.S. have earned their goals. This is just an outstanding shot. Yeah, maybe a defender should have come up higher on him, tried to get stick on stick, but if that's not a perfect shot, that's not going in.
It's true. A bit of a dip from Lucas Dishon. He's going to watch the film of that and think, ooh, I wish I'd been able to stay up a little bit more, but it is a great shot by Ian Wick. We've talked about how good he can be. And that is just a wall of white jerseys. The ball getting loose was actually a bit of a friend to Keaton Nicholson because it got over center, but it's going to roll clear and will be scooped up there by Nick Schaller. Forecheck pressure, though, by Nicholson. Great strip. Can he get to the ball? He will get there. You got a man with you. Good effort by Schaller to get around and turn on, but fighting through it was Nicholson. He's going to get a reset for the Australians, and he'll go for a well-earned break.
He drew a penalty as well, so that was...
Oh, is there a penalty coming?
Yeah, that was just fantastic play all around by Keaton Nicholson.
Illegal sub. There's so much going on. It's tricky when the play is over near your bench. It's so easy to take a step off and get involved.
I've loved Nicholson's game. I've noticed a few great defensive plays, and he got the ball back, managed to get a good shot and draw a penalty. I mean, I don't know if you really say you draw the penalty when it's too many men on the floor, but it was all because of him.
It was. And what a great effort with the wrap check strip. Kamak will be at the top on the power play again for Australia, again with Orlando Kernaghan on the shooter spot and Anthony Green down low. Far side, it's Spivey practicing his golf swing down at the crease.
And you know, I'd say not enough shots by Kernaghan. I think they got to. I know they're always looking for him, but I think he's got to be getting
and get him some chances
more
inside.
Shots.
That's Shea Cripps wearing the 27 for the U.S. Not sure what he's shaking his head about. The defenders for the U.S. up high are going to be Carson Forney and Braden Kuzma, a couple of the veterans. Down low, you've got Nick Schaller, and I believe Maverick Schultz is the other one.
Did they stick the wrong guy in the box? Is it?
Maybe Pusak's coming over to talk to him.
That's 20. Who is that in the box? 27.
That's Shea Cripps wearing the 27, not the 30.
Okay.
Yeah. So Drew Petkoff's looking for an explanation. I thought it was fairly clear. You had too many guys on the floor. You got a penalty. You had to send somebody over. Drew doesn't seem to agree.
Well, it is the in-home rule, right? Like I know.
Yeah. All right, we're ready to roll. The Hip are still playing here on Tragic the Hip Way. It's been all Hip all the time, and I am here for it.
They will be forever.
Yep.
All Hip week.
Kernaghan with it. Can they get him inside? They go to Kamak. He's going to rotate to the top. Gets that pass. Looking to Spivey down low. Well, that's a nice little cut. Kernaghan gets the shot. Stopped. Wow, that's the first shot Beck Hagen's faced, right? In the U.S. net?
I think so, yeah. And
what a challenge.
Got it caught up in equipment. Look at this. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, that's not going to go well. Lucas dish, and I love the idea to try and get out. But if you're going to come and make that hit, you'd better make it count.
Yeah,
Braden Kuzma just takes advantage.
I was just going to say the same thing. If that's the play you're going to make, then it better be full tilt, flatten him. You know, almost let him catch it. The second he catches it, you flatten, you'll probably get a penalty. But
yeah. Honestly, you're better taking the penalty there than because if he catches that ball and you don't knock him down, that's a sure goal.
And it was an easy goal.
Yeah. Short-handed, just 11 seconds.
Or the other option is you run out in front of him and intercept it.
I thought that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
I thought he was going up with the stick to intercept the pass, and I was there for it. Could have made a Woody Seneca. Woody, R.I.P. to Woody from down in, I think, Cattaraugus Nation, who died yesterday. He's been a great contributor, to the game of lacrosse. And he, Blue Squatch Productions ran a shot of him playing Masters and going up as a goalie, going up into the offensive zone and trying a crease dive.
Oh, my gosh.
It was great. It was a great tribute to Woody, who was just an all-time beauty.
And what a name for a lacrosse player.
Yeah. So our condolences to certainly to the Seneca family. Aussies into the offensive zone, and they're just going to pull up Keaton Nicholson, waiting for everyone to join him for the power play.
And you might have mentioned already, Stamper, but that's McNamara's hat-trick goal. Did you mention it already?
I didn't. Oh, that one gets through, but bounces off the post. Beck Hagen gets a little help from his friend. And now taking off with it is Maverick Schultz, covering some ground. He's got someone with him. I'm not sure Pusak was looking at first, and then he turned his head and realized the ball was on its way. Did a nice job with that catch. Gonna kill some time. Still 15 on the shot clock, so he'll flip it all the way out to center to Wick.
Yeah, it's still 27 seconds left on the penalty.
U.S. getting some changes made. They're actually sending another forward out, which I thought was a little strange with the last couple seconds in the shot clock, but they did reverse that. McNamara came out, went straight back in. Now the U.S. goes to the penalty kill. They got 15 left. In Australia, oh my goodness, the late change for the Aussies, and they've only got 8 on the penalty. This could really be dangerous if they try and get a shot now.
Yeah, and one
broken
of the
stick, it's a
subtleties.
5-on-3.
Oh boy. And that's what you're referring to is one of the subtleties in box lacrosse. You don't want to take a shot with a couple seconds left on a power play as that man is coming out of the penalty box. They got lucky there though. Oh
Well, I'll tell you another one with the broken stick. The U.S. player just took off, headed to the bench, stay there and play. But
yeah.
That's another one of the field things where these guys, a lot of them do, obviously are field first guys in the U.S.
And they're not allowed to play with that.
Not allowed to play.
Right? Yeah.
Strange rule. I don't know, field has some, I like field, but it has some strange rules. You can't play if your stick's broken. Well, why not?
Yeah.
So he should have just stayed and played. He'll figure that out. I'm sure they've already let him know.
I'm sure they could say that they think that we've got a lot of strange
I'm sure
rules
they
in
do.
boxing.
I'm sure they do. They probably think all the cross-checking is
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. Cross-check a guy whenever you want.
Oh, what a sidearm rip from McNamara. I'm pretty confident that he's one of the 3 really good shooters that Petkov was talking about on that left side.
Some of the righties are good shooters, or lefties are good shooters. He's one of them, yeah.
Here's Katz. Oh, big save by Dishon. But Katz will get it back. Nice check there. And a big swat from Kamak, who's back on the defensive end. Great strip. And it's just kicked ahead by Longstaff, which will get the ball down the floor, and the Aussies can set up on D.
Now, as well as Deshaun has played on those long shots, I think his team owes it to him to not let this turn into a shooting gallery.
That one's wide of the net, and the official had to duck out of the way. Did a pretty nice job. That one's blocked out front, comes up into the stands. Was it off an American or an Aussie? Off an American.
Oh, okay. Now,
no,
U.S. Okay, I was confused on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
he
Aussie
was
ball.
pointing. He was pointing in this direction, and
so
I don't think anyone on the floor realized.
No, I think it went off Fisher Gadbois' helmet. And Mason Close came over and kind of tapped his head, rubbed him on the helmet. I think he was saying like, "Hey, you okay? Sorry about that." And Gadbois turned around, ready to go. He was like, "What are you doing? Do we have to settle this?" I think Mason was like, "No, I was just saying. Hope you're okay. Sorry it went off your head." Great strip there by Maverick Schultz, having himself quite a game. The outlet pass, and heading in is Carson Forney. He will be stopped by
I almost wish he was going to score there because I love that catch he made.
I know. He's got it back.
Chance.
The shot is the play there. Oh, no. Pusek switches hands. I was going to say, you got it righty, go ahead and shoot. But Pusek, as he did earlier, switches hands. That is where some of that field instinct comes into play, and that's a pretty nice little finish.
Yeah, you think you got a guy on the wrong side of the floor, and he just switches hands. And, this is, the kind of goal we saw earlier in the game. Fake, fake, fake. And I would, not to be too critical, but I would say the strength in Deshaun's game is not the inside plays. No,
yeah.
It's the outside shots. He's done a great job.
Yeah, it's tricky. He's going for the fakes. And you kind of have, it's hard because at some point one of them is not going to be a fake and you need to be reacting to it, but you can't just be going back and forth.
And another hat trick. Pusak's got a hat trick as well.
There you go. He did switch hands earlier, and this one is so quick. I was literally watching Forney, and as I'm saying, you have a righty, go ahead and shoot. And he passes it to him. I'm like, wait, how is there a lefty there?
Yeah.
We see the replay, and he switched so quickly.
How did that righty become a lefty?
That's got to be a push in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's going to be a crease call. Now they're getting after the guy in the crease.
But I don't think it was a smart play by Jackson Close. They're getting the ball back, and he's pushing the U.S. player into the crease, but somehow not only is Australia getting the ball back, but they're getting a power play.
Nicholas Elam is getting a penalty for roughing.
Now, I don't know if he did something while he was down in front of the goalie.
Or maybe when he popped back
angle.
up. Yeah, Mason Close definitely cross-checked him dead in the numbers on the back.
Yeah.
Flattened him into his goalie.
And there was no need for it.
No.
The
But
power
hey.
play has not been good. I think they've only allowed one shorthanded goal.
Oh, but they had a chance to come back. The ball just popped away from him. Forney had it for a moment, but Kernigan knocks it loose, and Anthony Green tracks it down.
Somehow the shot clock has been reset. I don't know if...
I don't see one of the refs counting it down, so they do have that full 30. It didn't get anywhere near the goaltender, Beck Hagen. Here's Kernigan at the top, quickly on. Green thought about a shot. Now he'll rip it. Oh, that's a nice save by Hagen. That was a pretty good shot for the top corner.
Yeah. But I think you want to do it earlier.
I don't think you could believe it was quite that open. He took a little fake, and then that's going to be a 10-second count on the Americans.
And this is a play where Ozzy's got the ball back anyhow, but when you realize that the 10 seconds are going to run out, you don't want to get yourself into trouble by picking it up in the crowd.
Right, yeah, just wait. It's like the last few seconds of your shot clock on offense, or on defense, just muck it. Oh, nice pick-off there by Cripps. He throws almost an ice pick check there. That could have been pretty nasty as he flung the back end at the Australian who checked him. Cripps thought it was a bit late, but you just can't start throwing the butt end of your stick at guys.
No.
The U.S. onto the kill. Ian Wick with it. We'll take a look. Everyone was kind of looking around. I don't really know what was going on. But the ball is loose in the corner.
Well, the shot clock in one end was not working. Okay. And I don't know if that sort of confused the players or not. Okay, well, see, this is a bad example of what not to do. They're on a power play, and he's trying to beat two men.
And that's a goal. A nice finish by Tyler Sebastian. And they're going to have a chat with Nathan Honeyfield and say, yeah, you don't try and take on all 3 of the 4 Americans killing the penalty
you're
up on the forecheck.
On the power play, you've got 10 seconds to get it over center, so you know if there's 2 guys on you, there's lots of guys open.
Yeah.
And I think he tried to battle against those 2 guys, and sometimes you might think it's a great effort to battle against 2 guys, but it's not the wise thing. And
discretion is the better part of valor.
And
Make
another
the pass.
shorthanded goal.
And a nice finish by Tyler Sebastian. Don't want to miss that as he tiptoed around the crease.
Yeah, and I hate that we do miss that because I'm being critical on Honeyfield.
You're so mean. The Aussies coming out. They will eventually get their 5 forwards out for this power play. They've only got 2 seconds left, so not going to take a shot. Yeah, nice play by Mortimer Underwood as he sees the player coming out.
So that's, they're learning. That's, one of the subtleties we said.
It's a goal for Spivey. What a great cut. And I was just thinking, because they had Nicholas Elam came out of the box and leaked down the floor, and the Aussies were like, leave him, we're going to go for it. Yeah, and it worked out. Spivey, his second goal.
And I like that. Like late in the penalty, you don't want to take that long shot with a big rebound, but instead they set up, and the cutter, you're going to see the cutter. Spivey is like wide open, and he puts it in for their 3rd goal of the game, correct? Yes.
Yeah. 12-3 the score. Australia doesn't come in looking to, they would love to win games. They know they're not probably going to win a lot of games. But growth, development, and that is some good stuff going on. Elliot Cornett gets it, jukes and jives, and gets stripped by Carson Forney. The ball rolls down along the boards, and it's going to be scooped there by Katz. Raphael Katz. Pusak was cutting to the middle, but got banged into the crease. Nice defensive play by Spencer Drinkall. Lots of time on the shot clock for the U.S., but they're going to have a wide open look for Sebastian as he drives through the middle, tripped up. Not sure if he just lost his balance or tripped on an Australian's foot. Either way, it's Aussie possession, and Jack Wiley racing down the floor. There is 1 L. He had 2 L's on the roster, but just 1 on the jersey, so it is Wiley, not Willie. Check that before the game. There's also a reasonable chance that it was just me typing. Mortimer Underwood.
Looking for a man.
He's very good at retaining the ball, but at some point you do have to move it on.
Yeah.
Like holding it until the end of the 30 isn't actually helping that much.
I'm not sure if he was looking for a pick, but it came.
Jack Silva scored that beautiful goal earlier and wasn't quite aware that Longstaff was coming. And this happens every time I see Longstaff play through a tournament. I like him more and more as it goes. He's edgy. He's going to step out here on defense, but doesn't stop that behind the back from Luke McNamara. What a beauty from Big Mac.
Yeah, fourth goal of the game and probably his prettiest.
Probably?
He just squeezes through two guys, you know, and I would say Mortimer Underwood is not usually playing defense, and he so kind of got stuck out there, got running back, and I think McNamara saw the opening and just squeezed through, but finished off with a beautiful behind the back shot.
Bowden Bounds takes the face-off for the U.S., and it is scooped up there by Nick Schaller. He'll burst his way into the offensive zone, watched by Longstaff, who strips it and then gets the ball. So he's got the cause turnover. He's got the Lucy. Can he finish it up with the trifecta and get the goal? No! Big save. I was pulling for him.
Yeah, so was I. You know, he looks over at the man, and I think the goaltender just played that real well, just realized, you know, he's got nowhere to go.
Now the U.S. are playing, if you can, how's it go? Anything you can do, I can do better. Sorry. Benjamin Pusak says, I'm going behind the back now. He almost buried that one. Here's close. Good decision not to pass it to Longstaff. He's got to get to somebody.
He's running out of time. That was the longest 10 seconds I've ever seen.
There were still 10. There's still 21 on the shot clock as it went. So it sure felt like a long.
Yeah.
He's holding on to it. Here's Mason Close, far side. Spivey ducks underneath. He's going for the hat trick. Just stopped there by Hagen. Kuzma comes away with it.
That could have been interference by the goaltender there.
Just been watching Matt Vince play.
Yeah.
Gadbois with the diving attempt or jumping attempt. Emulating another Bandit in Josh Byrne, but not quite as
elegant.
As spectacularly athletically. U.S. setting up. We got 3:10 to go here in the third quarter. Jump shot. What do you think of the jump shot, Channy?
I don't really like it, but
yeah,
when I see guys that are able to score on it, I'm impressed.
I know, it looks cool when it goes in.
You don't get all the power behind it.
No, you're not connected to the ground.
But, you know, that's why sometimes it's impressive. Just like guys that shoot off their back foot. I think, how do they get that much power off the back foot?
Tom Schreiber with that step back. Holy cow.
I mean, any shot Schreiber takes from anywhere is dangerous.
Yeah. U.S. coming forward again. I'm not a big fan. I still remember Corey Conway shooting it all the time. I was like, stay on the ground. Stay on the ground.
I mean, it really is a field across shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyler Sebastian's wondering who to give the ball to. Eventually finds someone in the person of Pusak who hands it off. Oh, they had the wide open McNamara in front. It's going to be a loose ball push, and the U.S. will get it back. I'm really enjoying watching Benjamin Pusak play. He's just constantly moving, creative.
Yeah, he's definitely had a good game. Him and McNamara have been the two biggest offensive threats for the U.S.
He's trying to make something happen here. Now he's kind of had the ball for a while. That shot misses. Wick comes down with it. Was thinking about the shot. Good defense though from Mason Close.
Lots of time.
Yeah, 5 now on the shot clock. Saved by Deshaun. Either way. Penalty coming to the U.S.
I think, oh boy.
Okay, now I'm starting to think that Austin Longstaff just has to tighten up his chin strap.
Well,
that one came off easy.
If we want to give him the benefit of the doubt, we could say that it was knocked loose in the first one. I don't think the U.S. is getting a second penalty for that, although it looks like they called it a slash. I thought it was a high stick.
I thought Jackson Close was going to the penalty box. He was actually just going to pick up someone's equipment that was left on the boards there.
I think there's a mouth guard or
I
something
think so.
on the boards.
I hope it was his, because I don't know if I'd want to pick up somebody else's mouth guard.
Well, Australia's got to get a goal here. Their power play has not been good, and particularly
Max open in the middle. They didn't hit it.
That play's been open all game, and they're not always hitting it.
Yeah. Spivey just stood there with the ball. You've got to make that pass. There it is again. Nice stop by Beck Hagen, who's been sharp.
Well, yeah, he made it that time, and that was a good shot. Move the ball.
Spivey is going to duck underneath. Nice defense there by Schaller. But Green is open. Another big save by Hagen. Is it my imagination, or is Australia getting quite a few more high-quality chances?
I was just going to say that was the best 30 seconds of power play they've shown us this game.
Yeah. In fact, you could take any 30-second combination from their other power plays, put it together, and I don't think it's as good as that 30 in a row.
They were moving the ball quickly, passing it to the guys when they were open. Oh, boy.
Whoa. Lucas Dishon comes out to lay the big hit on Maverick Schultz and does not win the confrontation, but he's right back up, getting back after it. I love that. They killed the 30. Orlando Cardigan stayed up the floor through there. It was 3-on-4 for the U.S. in the offensive zone.
Maverick Schultz, and that's the first time I really noticed him, is pretty solid.
Oh, yeah, no, he's something. He's another one of the guys who's played here before, and well, that one gets away from Kamak. I thought that Quad Vanderhoven was going to go after it.
I don't like those long passes.
No. Spivey tries another one, trying to hit Cornette in the middle. It's going to be grabbed by the goaltender, and Hagen makes the outlet pass. It's a 2-on-0.
Now that's where, well, maybe not. I was going to say that's where Dishon should come out and grab that ball, but it was a little bit too far off the net, more than I thought originally.
I think it could have been a lot of trouble. That will do it for the third quarter. It is 13-3 for the U.S. over Australia at the 2025 IIJL World Juniors opening game here on Tragic to the Hip Way in the original capital of Canada in Kingston. I'm Stephen Stamp with Brian Shanahan. We'll be back with you on Trickshot Media after a quick break.
Especially a game like this, if it was an overtime game or something, I want to show highlights.
Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2025 IIJL World Juniors from here in Kingston. I'm Stephen Stamp with Brian Shanahan. And Shanny, that was not a bad quarter for Australia.
Yeah, it's been a lively game. There's a lot of things I've really liked, about both teams. Obviously, the U.S., 7 goals from 2 players, McNamara and Pusak, but a lot of good things we're seeing from Australia. Spivey's got a couple of goals. Their power play looked much better that last time. Overall, power play's probably been a weakness.
U.S. comes away with it. They've got a 2-on-1. Forney with the pick. Didn't really wind up helping McNamara, but he did get the shot off. And Jackson Close will come up over center. Hello to everyone down in Australia who's watching. Great to have you on board with us.
And
nice chance for Mortimer Underwood. Kind of handcuffed Hagen a little bit. Luke Spivey's having himself quite a game. Where is Luke Spivey from? I want to check that one. U.S. into the offensive zone. Kuzma hands it off. And Pusak is just waiting for Tyler Sebastian to join him. Finds Katz on the far side. Ducks into space. He'll let that go. Misses it wide. Pusak's there to prevent the over and back. Gets it back to Katz on his offside. Moves it quickly. Nice ball movement by the U.S. here. They've got 3 seconds. They've got to shoot it. Big save, Dishon again.
And Dishon, I think it's fair to say he's been the most valuable player for Australia.
Yes. Yeah, even though they're down 13-3, he's made some really nice saves. Spivey has 2 goals and I believe an assist on the other goal.
And I think Mortimer Underwood's got a couple of assists.
Scoop there. Oh.
Well, that was self-inflicted.
Yeah, Jack Wiley a little slippy.
Oh boy.
As he headed into the
Look
corner,
at
the
the
ball
floor.
bouncing
Look at
everywhere. Austin Longstaff has it. They've got Kernigan off the bench. Get it to him. Still time.
Oh boy.
That was a really nice catch, but by the time that ball got to Kernigan, he was well past. He almost actually had to go around the world there to get a good angle, I think.
He got the ball back, but yeah, that's another one of those plays that I think if they are watching the replay of this game, they're going to see how many times they've had teammates open.
And against the 4th quarter, so it is the long change. The righty coming off the bench for the Aussies, the lefty coming off for the Americans. Nice block by Landers. Goes straight back to Spivey. Feeds Kernigan. Great save by Hagen. That's a nice chance.
And the Aussies have definitely used the bench a lot more than the U.S. has.
Landers got the ball eventually. He was streaking up the floor looking for a pass. Got it, couldn't quite handle it. Here's Green. Kernigan almost came out for a change.
I was watching that. Kernigan was on the bench waiting for somebody, and no, that's where you want somebody to sprint to the bench. A defensive player, just get there hard.
So the U.S. coaches are definitely going to be talking to their guys about not leaving people open in front quite as much. We'll see what Green can do with this one as Kamak is going to set a pick for him. Green goes around behind the back, tried the dunk. I'm not sure where the ball, it went into the corner. That wouldn't have counted anyway because the head of the stick was behind the goal line. That's a nice catch by Kuzma. Wow. Nice job fighting out. If you don't play a lot of lacrosse, you might not know just how hard that catch was with the ball right down on the concrete as it's landing in his stick.
I was looking the wrong way. Was it a short hot pass? Or?
Yeah, it was like it was literally going right. I think he must have got it trapped as it was coming up because if it hit his stick. Oh, there's a pass to Kuzma who misses the net as the buzzer goes. But yeah, it was one where the ball was right at the floor as he was catching it.
I'm always impressed with, especially when you see guys do that on the run.
Yeah. Jackson Close will hand it off here, and Nicholson.
Well, you saw what Daniel Gutnick was looking for there.
Yeah, just didn't quite come together.
Yeah, he was looking for the man in the center, but not a well-executed pass.
Taking their time, and Quad Vanderhoven eventually does manage to move it off. Tyler Sebastian, U.S. taking their time. You can hear the bench saying move it. They're not loving the ball, kind of holding in sticks. And then Pusak, I'm not sure if he could believe how wide open that lane became, but he missed the net. The shot clock expires. Raphael Katz picked it up, ready to go again, but the shot definitely got to the goalie after the buzzer.
I mean, he almost got that ball on net in time.
Yeah. Mortimer Underwood hands it off to Spivey. Spivey. They're running low on time on the clock. Spins and shoots. Saved by Hagen.
Hagen didn't seem to know where that ball was, but he still made the save. He's been in the right spots.
Behind the back pass from Pusak. Probably not necessary.
No.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like showboating.
Yeah. There's another save, the ball into the corner. U.S. gets there first. Pusak will grab it. That's a nice play to just flip it behind him and avoid the over and back. Then it touches an Aussie, so the U.S. gets possession. They still just have 16 to shoot. Oh, great pass.
Oh, nice
Crease
save.
violation, but a great save by Dishon.
Now this is where somebody's got to be going to the bench hard, and it looks like Aussies are doing it. And you know, Drew Petkoff, the coach of the U.S., said, you know, they want to see if they're what they can learn from this game. I think one of the things they can learn is to shut down the bench.
Yeah.
Don't let players get behind you.
Spivey looking for the man in the middle again. A bit of a gap, but the U.S. was closer. Kernigan, great chance, gets it back. He's thinking dunk. Oh, they're going to say he stepped in the crease.
Very nice pass by Jackson Close to get it to Kernigan on the crease there. Okay, I'm shocked they're not calling that play. The goalie comes out and basically hitting the player who's.
I mean, if it's any other player, it's an illegal pick, right?
Yeah, are you seeing the same thing?
They seem to let goalies get away with it a bit more.
Yeah, like I always was taught, you know, goalie's got to come out and plant his foot, just like a regular pick.
Yeah. Tyler Sebastian, nice work to fight through. They're going to say a touch, and I think at least two of the refs agreed, so it will be U.S. possession. Another broken stick, and this time the Aussie again. It's the Aussie, and he's going off again. Penalty coming. I think it's a hold. Great save again.
But you're absolutely right. I don't know if these guys know you can play without a stick, then they aren't acting like it. They're running off. They're better off playing defense without a stick and just, you know, getting the body in the right spot.
And I think you've got to look at this fourth quarter being 0-0 so far as a win for the Aussies. You know, being down 13-3 coming into the quarter. They're going to go to the penalty kill. We'll see if they can keep it rolling. But some good defensive plays. And again, Lucas Dishon really shining.
Yeah, although this will be a test for him. You know, the power play there, you know they're going to get some shots. Now, I'm trying to look out there to see, is the U.S. changing their top? No, it doesn't look it.
No, McNamara, another rip. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists so far.
Yeah, they've still got McNamara and Pusak on a power play, so they're still going with their top guys.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Isaac Dishon, be aware.
That could have been worse.
Oh, here's a break for Pusak. Look at the ground he covers. Nice save, Dishon. But Benjamin Pusak just gets going.
Yeah, you know, he's got a nice gallop.
Yeah. Gliding strides. Now he's going to cut to the middle, and the Aussies just ignore him. The U.S. was making their changes. I think he was thinking, pass me the ball.
Yeah.
I'm wide open in the slot. Just give it to me. Another save by Dishon.
Oh, boy.
Aussies into the offensive zone. Austin Longstaff looking around. I think he's looking to see where the Americans are and where his teammates are. He'll head to the bench now as Anthony Green will come out as the 5th attacker. Actually, the 4th attacker because they're shorthanded. Oh, Green was thinking lane to the net. Carson Forney's going to track this one down as the 30 expires. And Hagen was just about to throw another big pick. Decided he didn't need to. It's a breakaway chance. Another save, Dishon. Where is it? Oh, it's in his pad. In his glove, yeah.
And, you know, wrong side of the floor for the American player. Sometimes that doesn't matter.
It's fun. It's just looking down into the stands, and the Close family, his folks are wearing this. There's one has the Mason Close jersey, and one has the Jackson Close jersey, which is pretty cool. Love to see the Aussies representing.
Spreading the love.
Yeah, they travel well. Had a great group of folks last year when we did the U16s, U18s, and Women's World Juniors in East Aurora, New York. A lot of fun. The 30's going to expire. That's fine for the Australians. They managed to kill the penalty.
Yeah, that was a good kill. They seem to have the ball in the U.S. end for quite a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to jinx them, but we're 8.5 minutes into the fourth quarter, and the Australians haven't given up a goal in this period after giving up 4, 4, and 5 in the previous 3. Yeah, I jinxed him. Oh, no, I didn't. Big save by either Dishon or his post. Oh, and that's a huge hit, but it's grabbed. And another big hit, just wreaking havoc, is Drew Norris. Mentioned the U.S. has some big forwards. Norris might be the biggest of them. Great cut. That's going to be a score. That's a beautiful finish by Luke McNamara racing in off the bench.
Well, I don't know if the Australian team was tired on defense, but they got that ball and just ran into trouble again and again. And when the U.S. got the ball back, yeah, there's a save earlier on. That's the one you thought you jinxed them. But here's McNamara off the bench, catches it, and puts it in for, is he up to his 5th now?
Yeah, that might be 5 goals. He's got a few assists. He's having quite a game. Let me see. 4 goals, 2 assists. And it's, oh no, that is 5. That's his 5th goal. Cat's trying to get it, but it's going to be snagged. Oh no, it's not going to be snagged. Now it's the U.S. coming with it, Tyler Sebastian. Hard rip, another save by Dishon. That one I think just missed the net. Katz gets it back. Lots of time still showing on the shot clock. Katz goes for that, another save by Dishon.
Got a guy open.
It's going to be grabbed by Longstaff. Looks around. He goes lefty for a bit. Makes the pass off to Spivey.
Oh, boy. I don't know how that pass made it through.
Kernigan gets a goal, though. However it got through, it was effective. Orlando Kernigan with another one. Almost called him Ollie. They do tend to call him Ollie. Kernigan, either way, finishes it off.
Well, a long loping pass that I thought was going to be intercepted and almost was, and it quickly gets returned to Kernigan in the center, very much like the goal he scored earlier from Mortimer Underwood.
Was that coming from Anthony Green?
I'm not sure. But
We'll check that one. But
second goal.
The last pass was no looper. That was a dandy.
Yeah.
Nice block there by
and it
Isaac
was a quick
Dishon.
pass too.
Yeah. And that's, again, when you start getting more comfortable, right? As you could be ready. We talked earlier about being prepared before you get the ball, before you go onto the floor. Being prepared. Oh, you can't keep playing there. Austin Longstaff, that should be a penalty for playing without the helmet.
And you are right, it was Anthony Green did make that pass.
Yeah.
Spivey made the first pass, the one I was criticizing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Mortimer Underwood tried to get that one ahead. It's going to be picked off by Pusick, who's going to spin, and I thought he was thinking shot, and I was like, I don't know if that's one you need to take right now. Pusick will hand it off to Sebastian. That one's knocked loose. Pusick has it. It's the cutter. McNamara, who now has 6 on the game.
Did he put an extra fake on there that was nice, and it was a nice pass. Was it Pusick that made the over-the-shoulder pass?
Yes, he loves the BTB.
Here it is.
Actually, that's 5 for him.
Nice little pass. Yeah, and he is very dangerous when he gets that close. You know, the last goal we saw, he just got the ball inside and shot, and this time a big fake freezes the goalie.
Timeout taken by Australia with 3:47 to go here in the fourth. Wade Hammond will gather his troops. They're down 15-4. Luke McNamara with a third of those goals for the U.S. 5, not 6 as I was saying, but he does have 5 and along with a pair of assists. And it's just looked great in this game. He could be in the consideration when we post-game as the teams shake hands, or we'll have the player of the game presentations.
Yeah, no, he has been their best offensive player, without a doubt.
A lot of solid defensive efforts from them as well. Carson Forney, one of the veterans, I think has been very good. You mentioned Maverick Schultz kind of leapt out for you at one point.
Yeah.
Declan Landers, the captain.
You know, from Australia's point of view, obviously we've talked about goaltender Lucas Deschamps, but I think Keaton Nicholson's had a good game, has made some nice defensive plays. Spivey's got a couple of goals. Kernigan's got a couple of goals.
So the Dish and Deshawn debate we're going to have to address for all our friends in Australia. The first year that the Dishans were here, including their dad Chris, who's a great contributor to this program, I called them Deshawn the whole time, and they said everyone in Australia loved it. It sounded like the mustard, and it just sounded great, and they're like, we like it. Go ahead and stick with it. But then when they came back and we found out it is actually Dishan, we're like, well, we should stick with the actual name. But it's so tempting because Deshawn just sounds so good.
Yeah, you know.
We waffle.
But, you know, coming from you, Stamper, you've always been very good at making sure you pronounce the name properly. But as you've also told me some stories where even within families they disagree on how to pronounce the name.
Yes, the Carte dilemma. So, I thought Pusek was going to go to that cut to Fisher Gadbois. Actually, no, that was Bowden Bounds. Nope, it was Carson Forney, the other pair of red shoes. And now Fisher Gadbois with his red shoes is out on the floor.
Boy.
Wow.
Now, was that a hidden ball trick?
No,
or did
they just didn't play defense.
Weren't playing. Now, Aussies owe it to each other. They've had a good period. They're only down 2-1 this period.
They've got to shout him a drink after the game because he has been spectacular. And that one, they just hung him out to dry. Another big save. In the dictionary where it says hung him out to dry, they actually have that one already updated to show that play.
I mean, that looked like a play where they didn't know he had the ball, but what you're saying is they did know. They just decided not to cover him.
I think they did.
Not to play defense.
Yeah. Maybe he's playing so well, they're like, Dish has it. I don't know if they call him Dish, but they could. Tyler Sebastian. Not looking at the net. He's going to go over to the far side to Pusek. It's going to be a fresh 30 with 2.5 to go here. Braden Kuzma, the defender, up for an offensive shift. U.S. with 4 righties out on the floor. That's why you're seeing somebody on a right-hander over on the far side. Diving attempt from Kuzma. Well, he didn't dive. He just kind of stopped mid-dive and missed the net. The players get very excited about their chance to do the crease jumps and the crease dives and things. And sometimes I think they realize kind of mid-play that it's a little trickier than they think. Here's another chance for McNamara. What a save. You can't poke that in. No. Come on. Nice try by Pusek, but you do have to, if the ball's in the crease, you can go get it, but you have to possess it in the mesh of your stick. You can't just poke it in with the stick. That would have been no goal anyway. But Lucas Dishan stopped it. Here's Anthony Green. Eli Mortimer Underwood is going in with intention to the slot, but there's nobody there to pick. Now a shot from outside. Ripped it off the crossbar.
I would love to see the Aussies score one more goal. And
Kernigan would love to as well. Doesn't get that one. Here's a chance for Mortimer Underwood. We were both pulling for him there, right?
Well, they're losing 2-1 this period, and oh boy.
You got to cover him too. That's Raphael Katz. What a stop!
Gosh, what a game Dishan has played.
Yeah, Luke Spivey gets it ahead. Here's Anthony Green with the ball. Back to Spivey.
Go to the net.
Mortimer Underwood's in the slot. Cut to the ball. Sorry, we're coaching
now. It's bad when we're coaching up here.
Yeah.
But that's just, we like the way they played so hard.
Yeah.
And
they've got the back door. I thought it was going to come open. If Anthony Green had kept running, he was going to be open on the slot. And Wade Hammond saying, get back. And you could see him just look up like, I can't believe you just changed. Great trail check effort there by Jack Wiley. And then he swats it ahead. And it's going to go straight to his teammate.
Look at this, and look up the floor. He's got
him.
Boy.
Get it to him. Drinkall is putting his hands up. Just fight for the ball. Daniel Gutnecht has it. We're into the final 16 seconds. Can the Aussies tack one more on?
I don't know if we're the only ones that know they could tie this period after being outscored every period.
We probably are.
I think they know it.
Elliot Cornett whips it over. Spivey. It's going to run out of time. Tried to get that late shot off. Couldn't quite do it. A 2-1 fourth quarter for the U.S. makes it 15-4 overall. That's a great period. for the Australians. We're going to have the teams will shake hands. We'll have the player of the game presentations, and then the U.S. anthem will be played.
But you're right. That sure was a good period for Australia. But, you know, most of the credit's got to go to their goaltender, Lucas Dishon.
So the teams will come together and shake hands. And Shanny, I mean, you talked a fair bit there about how good of a period that was for the Australians.
Yeah, you know, it absolutely was. I know that McNamara got a couple goals that period. Or you get two? Yeah, he did get both. So it was 2-1 for Australia, or for the U.S. that period. Yeah. But Australia killed a couple of penalties. They got lots of opportunities, but you know, for the most part, the credit's got to go to Deshaun. Like he played fantastic, and you know, a number of times we said, oh, you know, the defense looked tired or whatever, where they were just giving the U.S. opportunity after opportunity, and he was bailing them out. He played great. I
think he's enjoying the concrete floor here because he has played on the turf, but I think with the concrete, he's taking advantage, you know, the way goalies will slide across on their pads.
No, you're right.
That you can't do on the grass.
You're right. No. He's been absolutely fantastic on the outside shots. The only outside shots that beat him were like top corner perfect shots. Oh, he played very well
placed. Yeah. We're going to go back to the floor because we had the player of the game presentations coming, but this has been a fun game. There's lots more to come tomorrow, 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock, including Canada and the U.S. tomorrow at 8 o'clock here from Slush Puppie Place on Tragically Hip Way. We're going to go back to the floor, and I went a little early. Sorry about that, guys. I was ready to spin around, but we'll have our player of the game presentations. We're working it all out. We are really enjoying being here. It's been a fun day. That game flew by. Tomorrow we get to 2 games per day. Monday and Tuesday both. We have 2 games. Wednesday, round robin play will wrap up. And the player of the game, no surprise, Lucas Dishon for the Australians. And he's so tired he can barely walk over to get his award. And Chris Fox says, let's go.
No, well deserved. I mean, you know, we talked about McNamara had a great game for the U.S. I think 5 goals.
I think he's going to be the guy.
But for Aussies, this is easy.
Luke McNamara, indeed, added a couple of goals in the 4th. If there was any doubt, he has looked really good. And you know, it's always interesting to see these American players and other, you know, players from other countries as well. But especially with the Americans, you really see guys rising as you have, you know, Ryan Colesy we talked about a couple of years ago. I didn't know anything about Ryan Colesy before this tournament. He really came out. Now he's won a Minto Cup with Quitlam, and he's probably a first-round draft pick in the NLL in 2 years. I think he comes out.
Yeah, and I think, well, you could make a list of guys who've gone on to the NLL from this tournament. And I could too if I take the time to think about a lot of good ones.
We're just going to enjoy the U.S. anthem. And that will wrap it up for day 1 of Christmas in July, the IIJL World Juniors. We're back tomorrow with 2 games. We're back Tuesday with 2 more, and that will actually be July as it's Canada Day here at Canada's original capital, Kingston, Ontario. We're at Slush Puppie Place on Tragically Hip Way. I'm Stephen Stamp with Brian Shanahan on behalf of everyone here at the IIJL. Thank you so much for being with us, lacrosse friends. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Time.